Hi, Jennifer Witt with the Witt Law Group here in Washington State. This video is on what is the judge and prosecutor thinking when I go into court. If you want to know more about criminal law topics and personal injury topics in Washington, please like these videos and subscribe to our channel so we can get more information out there. Thanks. So you're wondering probably, what is everyone thinking about me when you go into the courtroom? Most people have been arrested. It's their one and only time getting in trouble in the criminal justice system, and they're horribly embarrassed. They're ashamed and they're embarrassed, and they think everyone's judging them. They call our office and they're just so sheepish about, I really have to tell you what happened. It's kind of funny, not funny, but to us, we're just so accustomed to it that, we don't think anything of it when people divulge, yeah, this is what happened. I got myself into some trouble. And to us, we're looking at everything very analytically and from a defense standpoint, was everything done correctly? But also from the perspective, I hope you find this wherever you are, wherever you're calling a defense attorney and need guidance, is that 1 in 3 Americans has a criminal record. I mean, people are often shocked about that. We've represented every walk of life, your teachers, your doctors, law enforcement, nurses, plenty of traveling nurses, we have seen and heard it all. People make mistakes. Some people live under a lot of stress and make their mistakes. Some people, it's just a one-off, or they were going through some trauma. But really understand, first and foremost, you're in pretty good company, because 1/3 of this country has a record, and they aren't talking about it because everyone's embarrassed. Personally, I think it's the over-criminalization of our country, but no one asked me. So moving forward, when you are there and you're feeling like, gee, I'm, part of the, mafia now, I'm this despised, lowly person in society, realize that's not what's happening in a courtroom. It doesn't mean that they're actually thinking of you at all. And that is where people get into trouble with the thought process in a criminal case. That, well, if I just explain how I'm different than everyone else here, and I'm an upstanding citizen, and this is such a mistake, if I could just tell you all the details. Well, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at arraignment. It doesn't happen at your pretrial. It really doesn't happen. It happens between the defense attorney and the prosecutor when the prosecutor is ready to hear that story. What you should know is that when you walk in at your arraignment or your first appearance, depending how you appear in court for your first time, a judge and a prosecutor are thinking of themselves, to be honest with you. And I'm oversimplifying that, but basically it's a cover your ass situation. Every year, prosecutors or a judge will release someone that they shouldn't have, that the person, maybe they're using drugs and alcohol too much, it's coming out of the blue, but they're on their 3rd DUI, or often it's just one, but the person isn't taking it seriously and they go out and they kill someone. Or somebody is arrested for an assault for domestic violence, and it really does look like a shoving match gone wrong. This isn't really a big deal. But so maybe they're like, yeah, I'm gonna not have a no contact order, or I'll release this person, and the person leaves and kills someone, shoots their partner. And that is devastating. It's devastating for everyone. It's a one-off. It rarely happens, but it means all of you, all of us, everyone lives under that fear. So when you go into court and you're being judged by, your conditions of release, meaning, you're going to enter your plea of not guilty, because that's what you have to do. And again, TV doesn't help people understand that, but that's what you have to do. You enter your plea of not guilty, and then the court sets conditions of release, and the prosecutor makes an argument. How strict should those conditions of release be to secure your presence at the next hearing and to make sure you're not a risk to the community? That's all they're looking at. So they have to assume that you are a risk to the community in some fashion. And they have to consider if they make the mistake and they don't set a condition of release, are you the person who is going to put them in the news on the next day? And many of you, if you've listened to Ryan's videos, this goes back really a long way. 2003, I believe it was, David Brame, he was the chief of police in Tacoma. Some allegations came out about him abusing his wife, and that the department had kind of hidden some of those accusations. And when that was coming to light, he went and found his estranged wife. They were in a divorce, getting a divorce, and he shot her in front of the children. And needless to say, that has really changed the landscape in our state, and probably as it should have. I mean, those allegations should have been taken more seriously. However, you need to understand, don't take it personally when you are not allowed to say, well, hey, I'm different. I'm never going to be a risk to the community. Your defense attorney is going to do their best in a bail argument or in those conditions of release, but they don't get to bring in your Sunday school teacher and all of the volunteer work you did last year and that you've never had a speeding ticket. It's not that. It's not a mini trial. And you should understand going forward, so not to punish yourself and be self-defeating. They're not looking at you as the individual. They are looking at you, the defendant, and the risk that they face to not set a certain condition of release. So be aware. I think sometimes that just helps people with keeping their head on straight, getting through this process, because there is such an intense effort, and it often wears down your defense attorney trying to explain this over and over. No one cares that you are an Eagle Scout. Awesome. Takes a lot of work. It's not relevant. It's not relevant to whether you could make the prosecution or the judge look bad the next day, the next week, the next month if you commit another crime. So that is what really is going on, and hopefully that helps you understand why people sometimes are like, I want to tell my story. Well, if you're telling your story, you're in trial, and you're probably got a lot bigger problems coming your way. So trial is a very risky business, and juries like to convict people. So if you really want to tell your story, you're really you're taking a risk. But the rest of it, let your attorney decide what is relevant to explain. It isn't that you go to church every Sunday. It isn't that you are an Eagle Scout. It isn't that you bake a casserole for your neighbors every week. Those, lovely. Continue to be a great person, but understand that's not how it works when you show up to court. So hopefully that helps helps you feel a little better, because I know we can all get a little crass, a little dismissive of people and forget, hey, this is their one shot in the criminal justice system. They're terrified. They're judging themselves very harshly. Most people do. And defense attorneys often don't think of it that way. It's just calculating another hearing, and you're calculating the best outcome for your client without really helping them understand the process. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more. It really is an oversimplified version of things. And if you have questions, or you hope that we'll do a video on another topic or expand on kind of what happens in Washington during these hearings, feel free to write that in the comments, and we'll try to get to it. Again, if you like the content and want more of it, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.